Alright, bro. Welcome back to another video. So today we're gonna do something a little bit different. Today I'm doing a little get to know me type of video. I have a list of questions here that I will be reading off if need be, but I'm just gonna tell you more about me. The last time I did an introduction, or like I told you guys a little bit more about me, it was like almost 2 years ago. So I feel like it's time for a new one. And then after this, we'll continue with the rest of the vlogs and everything else, you know? So, where did I start? Where can I start? I should say, right? I have 9 siblings. All of us together is 10. I'm the oldest at 24. I'm 24, by the way. I just turned 24 like 4 days ago on September 3rd. Today's September 9th, I believe. And yeah, so I just turned 24 literally a couple days ago. What do I like to do? I love fishing. I love playing sports, basketball, football. I played throughout high school. I played pretty much all the sports they had to offer. I like playing sports, but I don't like watching sports. Like, I've never been the type of guy to like sit down and watch a football game or watch a soccer game or a basketball game or a baseball game or whatever, or track. I will participate in the sport, but I will never sit down and take the time and invest the time and watch it. Like, I've never understood like how some people are like become devoted fans and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on gear, like buying stuff to commemorate how much of a fan they are. You know what I mean? But just because I never understood it doesn't make it a bad thing. You know what I mean? I know that it exists. It's just I've never been that type of person, and I think I never will be. I don't think I will ever like devote 2 hours or 3 hours on my day watching a football, soccer, baseball, whatever, any type of sport. I don't think I'll ever do such a thing, you know. But if that's something that you do, that's okay. You feel me? I was born in Tanzania, Africa, or East Africa, I should say. I'm Tanzanian / Congolese, but technically, like, I would be Congolese because that's where my father was born and raised in Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, if you will. So that makes me Congolese by ethnicity, I think. If it's not ethnicity, it's something else. But I'm Congolese in Tanzania. I was born in Tanzania. Let me see. I've been in the United States for about almost 20 years. We came into the U.S. My family came to the U.S. in 2009. At the time, I was about 9 years old or something like that, 9 or 10. Maybe 8. I don't know, something like that. We came in 2009, and right now it's 2025. Okay, hold on. Alexa, what is 2025 minus 2009?
2025 minus 2009 is 16.
16? That makes no sense, my nigga. Oh, I think that's how long I've been in America, but I've been 16 years? Really? I thought it was longer than that, bro. But, my math could have been off, you know? I think I came here when I was about like, wait a minute. Alexa, what is 2009 minus 24?
2009 minus 24 is 1,985.
I don't know how to ask to do the right math. I think I was about 8 years old, 8 or 9, when I came to the United States. When we first came to the U.S., we lived in Atlanta, Georgia. We lived there for about, I want to say 8 years, 7 or 8 years, and then we moved to Arizona. We lived there for a couple years, and then my family decided. Well, my family's still in Arizona, but I decided to, move to Texas Because to be honest, I really hated Arizona, bro. It's so hot. It's the biggest thing that I really hated about Arizona was the fact that it was so hot. Everything else about Arizona is fine, to be honest. It's just I couldn't stand the heat. It was too hot, bro. Every day, just hot every day, bro. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. So about 6, 7 months ago, 7 months ago actually, I moved to Texas. To be honest, I originally didn't want to move to Texas. I was gonna move to Utah, but there was like a snowstorm the night before I was gonna move to Utah, and I was looking it up, and that really discouraged me from moving. So I was gonna let's do it like this. On Monday, I was gonna move to Utah, right? On Sunday night, I found out that there was a snowstorm. So that same night, I said, you know what, fuck it. Utah is out, right? Toss that shit out. Then I looked into Texas. I looked into Austin. The next morning, Monday morning, I drove from Arizona to Austin, Texas, and that's how I ended up here. You know, so that's how that happened. So that's a little bit of my journey. I vlogged it if you're curious. I have a vlog on my journey to Texas and everything that happened in between, you know, and how my life, like where my life has started, at least in Texas to where it's at now. It's all in my vlogs if you're curious and want to know what's going on. You feel me? I'm gonna read off some of these questions because I think that's all the information that I can muster up about myself. I don't know. What is your definition of fulfilling life? Fulfilling is a loaded word, if I will. I don't think I use that in the right context, but fuck it, it's already there. I would say a fulfilling life to me is having enough to be able to support everyone that I care and love about. Not even just care and love, being able to support anybody that I can, anybody that I meet and think that they deserve a little bit of support and a little bit of hope. I feel like that to me makes my life more fulfilling, and it makes my life enjoyable. You know, being able to help those that are in a worst predicament than I am in. You know what I mean? I've always been the type of guy that, like, if I have something and like you need it more than I do, I will always give it to you. You know what I mean? That's always been my character, I guess. So that's how I would define like a fulfilling life. How do you handle criticism and do you use it for personal growth? To be honest, criticism has never been like, for the longest time growing up, I've never been the type to deal well with criticism and being told like my flaws and being criticized. But as I grew older and started to mature, I learned, like, to be honest, I matured faster than the usual. Wait, does that? I don't think that sounded right. Like, I matured faster than the normal kid did. You know what I mean? Like in Georgia, I used to get bullied a lot, right? And I had a lot of insecurities. But as time progressed, I learned to like overcome all that and like mature, and I became really self-reliant and I don't know, bro. But as far as criticism goes, like, I take it with a grain of salt, right? Because if it's not something that I criticize myself on, I don't really, like, if somebody's criticizing me on something, I will listen and then I will reflect within myself, right? For example, if somebody says that I talk too much and they're giving me, like, criticism on it, I will listen, take it in, and then I will internalize it and think to myself, like, What do I talk too much? Why do I talk too much? Like, what's the ideology behind it? Like, how did I get to this point? And then once all that makes sense to me, then I can either do something with that criticism or I'll just let it go. You know what I mean? Because if it's not serving me, it's not gonna be a part of my life. You feel me? So typically that's how I handle criticism, especially if it's like criticism to help me better myself. You know, if somebody comes up to me and be like, "Damn, bro, you're getting obese. You're becoming bigger and bigger." I take it, I internalize it, and then I think about it and myself like, "Damn, bro, I really am getting big." You know what I mean? I'm getting way too out of shape. So now I take that criticism and then I go and apply it into my life. I go and work out. But that's after I already internalized it and I like looked at myself and really like communicated with myself and made that conscious decision to do something about it. You feel me? So that's how I handle criticism. And yes, I do use it for personal growth if it serves me. You know, and if it's something that I agree with. You know, if it's something that's mean, somebody's just trying to say something to hurt my feelings, it literally goes in and comes out. That's the end of it. Like, I will say I'm very proud of myself in a sense of like, I learned at a very young age, growing up in Georgia, I learned how to control my emotions, bro. I feel like that's the biggest thing, bro. I learned how to control my emotions. I learned how to like not let petty and little things get to me. Although I won't admit that I am a petty ass nigga. I won't admit that fact. But even that being said, I still like I'm able to regulate my own emotions. Like I'm not going to let outside sources dictate how I react to certain situations, right? And I feel like that's been my key to success in a sense of like bro, when I tell you, bro, nothing gets to me, bro, nothing gets to me unless I allow it to, bro. You feel me? And that took me a long time, bro. That took me like many years of being, bro, having anger issues, being reactive. Anything, something happened, I just react. And that's not, that wasn't always in a good light or in a good way. It could always be like a bad emotion, anger, that like I just reacted instead of like really thinking about it and regulating how I felt about it. So I'm grateful that I was able to learn how to grasp my emotions and control that shit. Because if I didn't, it would still have a big threshold. No, that's not the right word. Have a big hold on me, bro. You feel me? Instead, so I learned how to control it, and now like nothing ever gets to me unless I allow it to, bro. And that's another reason why, like, I don't really consider cussing. Like I cuss a lot, bro, but that's because to me, like they're just words. I put no significant meaning to it. Like I can just say it. I just say it. Like it's like a regular word. Instead of like putting a big emphasis and a big meaning to it, it's like literally just another word that's coming out of my mouth. You know what I mean? So cussing to me has never been a big issue. So that's why I just be cussing this shit. You feel me? So there's that. What fear have you overcame or are you working to overcome? So for many years, my biggest fear was always the fear of failure. And it was two big fears. One was failure and two was rejection. Those were my two biggest fears for a long time. But just like everything else, I learned how to overcome it, right? Let me start with rejection, right? I learned how to accept somebody saying no to me and keep it pushing, because as I realized, like, not everybody. So I came to this realization when I was a bit younger. Is it loud or is it just me? Hold on, let me turn it down a little bit. I learned that everybody is not going to like you, bro. Everybody is not going to be a big fan of you. Everybody is not going to always agree with you. You know, and that's okay. We're all our own individuals. We're all our own person. You know? So knowing that, like I realized that not everybody's going to agree with me or want to do or would, I don't know how to phrase it, to be honest, but I'm trying to look for find the words, but I can't. I just can't. So like being rejected is a part of that. Is a part of people not agreeing with you. Not like we're all our own individuals, bro. You feel me? So knowing that you also know that like there's a higher chance of being rejected. And rejection doesn't always mean romantically. Rejection can be from a job. Rejection can be from a parent. Rejection can mean love. Rejection can mean all sorts of things. Success is a big one, you know? And like learning how to cope and deal with that is always good, because then once you get rejected, you don't just sit in it. You consume it, right? And then you let it out and you move on with your life. You feel me? Because that's what you're supposed to do. I need some water, bro. Hold on. So instead of water, I'll grab some fucking cranberry juice. Why not? You know, I can do it, so why not? So you just, you know. So that's how I feel about rejection when it comes to relationship. Was it relationships or what the fuck? I be forgetting shit so quick, bro. But now the fear of rejection, that's what it was. Now the other fear was the failure, the fear of failure. So so I'm really big into business. For the longest time, I've always loved business and being my own boss and building something that can empower myself, empower my community, empower the people that I hold dear. So I've always gravitated towards business and that aspect of life, right? So when it comes to business, I've always had a failure. I've always had a fear of failure. So that fear hindered me into not starting a whole bunch of businesses and ideas that I have. Even to this day, I still have that fear of failure. It's just now it's a little bit managed, just a little bit. I still have it, and it's still crippling because I have a lot of ideas that I want to start, but every time I have an idea to start it, the one thing that always comes to mind is failure. What if you fail? You're going to fail. You know what I mean? Is that shit loud or is it me? Alexa, volume at 4. That shit was loud. I'm not gonna lie. So it really stops me in my tracks, and it makes me not want to pursue that business idea, you know. So that's how that's how that really affects my life. Even though, like, to be honest with you, bro, I have a lot of ideas, bro. I've had a lot of ideas, and a lot of them all remain just ideas. I never really pursued them, and I never really did anything with them because my mind took me to a place that made me not want to pursue that, bro. So that's how my fear of failure has stopped me from pursuing so many ideas. Okay, so that's my stance on that. Next question is, hold on, let me go look it up. Okay, so the question is there a particular philosophy or mantra that guides your life decisions? I would say my mantra that guides me every day or my decision making will probably just be, fuck it, we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? Because especially if it's something that I cannot control, bro. Like I feel like that's something that everybody like needs to learn if they haven't already, bro. Because there's now I learned about this shit in 8th grade, no 7th grade, and I still remember it to this day. So there's certain variables, if I said it right. I think I said it right. There's controlled variables, fixed variables, and fuck. What was the other one? Controlled, fixed, and I forget the last one. But there's 3 variables. One is controlled. One is the one that you can that like you have control over, right? And this is more of a science term, right? Controlled, fixed, and I forget the last one, bro. But like there are certain variables in your life that you cannot control no matter what. For example, the weather, right? Or the government. You cannot control the weather, and you cannot control the government, right? You cannot control an accident happening. An accident happening. You cannot control somebody dying in your life. You cannot control anything. You can only control certain variables in your life, like how you feel, how you react to certain information. You can only control those aspects of your life. And there's many, many more that you cannot control. So when you realize that you cannot control these variables and you cannot control all of these things, you learn how to just let that shit go, bro. Like another thing that I live by is like I try to be as ignorant as possible, bro. Because there's so much fucking shit that's going on in the world that, bro, I'm just like, it sounds kind of fucked up, but I'm insignificant when it comes to the grand scale of things, bro. Like the world is a big, vast, like fucking place, bro. The world is huge, and there's a billion things going on, bro. There's a billion, right? But this is my reality, bro. So like sometimes I'm oblivious. Not even oblivious. I'm ignorant, and that's not. It's like I look at it as not a bad thing, even though some people can see it as a terrible fucking thing, because then that means, actually, I don't know. I have so many thoughts. I don't know how to like communicate them, bro. But like when it's certain things that I cannot control, bro. When it's and I know that I can advocate towards that issue, and I tend to do that, bro. But if I cannot control it, bro, there's nothing I can do about it, bro. I can look and listen and educate myself on whatever issue is going on in the world or whatever is going on, but I cannot control it, bro. There's nothing I can do. I can advocate it and try to get it across to somebody that could do something about it, but that's as much as I can do, you know. So I just sit back and watch as shit happens, bro. Even when I have things going on in my life, like I literally, like I'm just gonna sit here, and just let that shit. I just let it play out, bro. And when it comes to me doing my part, I'm going to do my part, you know. But that's all I can do. So my mantra is, we'll see what happens, bro. You know, we'll see what happens, bro. Especially when it's something that I cannot control, bro. You feel me? So if you've been watching my vlogs for a while, bro, you should know, like, I'm really like I tend to just be laid back and chill about shit, bro. I don't really, I tend not to stress about like when I have my car problems, like I don't stress about that shit, bro. Because if it works itself out, it's gonna work itself out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then I'm gonna move on with my life, find something else. You know what I mean? Or like moving to a whole new state, no friends, no family, no nothing. Like, okay, let's see where this takes me. You know, it could go bad, it could go good. Who knows? You feel me? We'll see what happens. So that's my mantra in short. You know, even though that was anything but short. But that's all part of it. That's all part of it. I also want to encourage you to listen to this, to listen to what I'm saying, and take it and apply it if it suits your life and what you're going through, bro. You know, I'm sharing these little tidbits of my life, and in hopes that maybe, like, if it fits, you can apply it into your own life. You feel me? Especially the one that of controlling your emotion, because I know a lot of people do not know how to control their emotions, bro. They just snap. They react. They're reactive, bro. They're not. They don't. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I've had so many situations in my life where, like, dude, you know what? This is like, I was saying one thing, but this is another thing I'm gonna say. Like, I'm so grateful that I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, bro. Because the Boys and Girls Club, damn, cranberry, shit, man. The Boys and Girls Club, bro. It like it provided me with so many opportunities, bro. See, one of my goals is to own my own like Boys and Girls Club branch somewhere. You know, maybe start one in Africa. Who knows? But I'm grateful to the Boys and Girls Club, bro, because not only did they provide me with a lot of opportunities, but they also taught me a lot of self-development, bro. The Boys and Girls Club taught me how to control my emotions. Like, I remember we had this course, not necessarily a course. It was a class group discussion where we was talking about how it was this group called Passport to Manhood. This was like, I want to say 7 years ago, and in this group we was talking about how society expects somebody to crash out and do a whole bunch of fucking crazy ass shit when they lose a parent or someone they love, right? And we was talking about how, like, the world expects you to just be a terrible fucking human being because you just lost someone that you love. But even though the world expects you to be that type of person, it takes a certain type of person to realize, you know what? Like, yes, I just lost this person. I just lost my mom or my dad. But instead of going out and being a menace to everybody else in the world, let me learn how can I deal with these emotions in a way that doesn't necessarily affect everybody else, and that doesn't end up causing me to throw away my life because of how I'm feeling in light of my parents being presumed dead or whatever, right? So you learn how to, like, even though life is kicking your butt, kicking your behind, you don't use that as an excuse to be a fucking terrible person, bro. You know what I mean? Because, like, I feel like a lot of people, or I don't feel like, this is what I was talking about back in Passport to Manhood. A lot of people feel like losing someone that they love, a parent dying or whatever, is their getaway free card to do whatever they want, you know? Because everybody's gonna show them sympathy because they just lost someone that they love. No, bro. Like, everybody has their own shit going on, bro. Everybody, you feel me? So, a lot of people use, like, what the fuck is the word, bro? Trauma. They use trauma as an excuse to just be a terrible piece of shit of a human, bro. And, like, that's not okay, bro, because, like, we all go through traumatic shit, bro. But you learn how to, like, how can I take this trauma and not let it affect my life to a point where I'm hurting other people around me and causing them trauma. You feel me? So, yeah, I would say learning how to control your emotion is one of the most important things, bro. Especially for a young man like yourself, you know, or a young lady, you know, like yourself. Let me see. Another question is, how do you navigate through difficult situations or conflicts? This goes back to the same as my mantra or my guide to life decisions. Is, like, when it comes to difficult situations or conflicts, I literally just sit back and just let it play out, bro. You know, especially if it's something that I cannot control, bro. Because there's going to be situations that I cannot control. You know, you cannot control certain people, you know, and how they choose to treat you and how they choose to act towards you. You cannot control that, bro. That's them, you know. So you just sit back and let it play out, bro. That's the best that you can do. Now, if it's something that you can control, you get in there and you try to, you know, do what you can to even make it. If it's a bad situation, make it good. Or if it's a good situation, make it even better. You know what I mean? And that's what you're going for. So that's how I deal with most, or that's how I navigate through difficult situations or conflicts. I literally just sit back and watch, and we'll see what happens. That's literally it, bro. No matter what is going on in my life, bro, just, okay, this is happening. All right, we'll see what happens. You feel me? That's all I can do, bro. Especially, I cannot emphasize this enough, bro. If it's something that I cannot control, bro, I just let it happen, bro. Because that's all I can do. If I fight back to it, if I'm fighting towards something that I cannot control, I'm only gonna hurt myself in the end, bro. You feel me? So there's that. One more question, and then that's gonna be it, bro. Let me see. Okay. The last question is, what steps do you take for personal growth and self-improvement? I would say, to be honest, I'm still trying to figure it out myself, as far as steps goes. But I am trying to build discipline, because I feel like that's where I fall short when it comes to personal development and personal growth. I want to do all these things, but I lack the discipline to actually follow through and actually achieve those goals that I have set for myself, you know? So I'm still trying to figure out myself, but I want to say, like, for right now, certain steps that I take is I take it slow, bro. I don't necessarily rush into it. It's the same ideology as like how I deal with certain stuff. I take it slow and I just let what happens. You feel me? I feel like that's a big like sitting back and seeing what happens is a big part of my life, bro. That goes for anything. So I don't really have like certain steps that I follow. Let me see, what was the question again? What steps do you take for personal growth or self-improvement? Yeah, I just take it one step at a time, bro, and whatever happens, happens. Now, my last question, I said this was gonna be my last, but my actual last question is, what do you think is the purpose of life? I really like this question. I really like this question. Now, what do I think is the purpose of life? Okay, if you've been watching my vlogs or my videos for a while, I kind of like touched on this a while back when I used to make reactions. I was making a reaction about a song. It was about something, but I talked about what I thought the purpose of life was. So I think that the purpose of life is to just exist. I personally don't think that like God or the higher being has like really like curved out this plan for you to like live by, because that will go against free will. So I think the purpose of life is just to live your life the best way that you can, because the way you live your life affects somebody else's life. You know what I mean? So you live your life in a way that like doesn't hurt somebody else's life. You know what I mean? And you simply existing is enough for somebody, like for example, in a video I talked about how, like, if somebody's already having a bad day and they're already thinking about killing themselves, and they have all these negative thoughts, and you you simply come along and you sit with them for 5, 10 minutes. You sit with them, you talk, and you have no idea that this person has the idea of killing themselves that night or the next morning or whatever. But you simply just meet them somewhere. For example, they're sitting at a bus stop, and you happen to be taking the bus somewhere as well, and they're there. You come, you sit, and you talk to them, and it's not you're not talking to them about killing themselves. You're not talking to them about like these grand things. No, you're just talking to them about what do you think about the weather today? Like what do you like to do? How's your day going? Just like little simple shit like that. Like you doing that alone, like prevented that person from taking their lives because like somebody else is acknowledging them. They were missing a certain piece in their life, and you provided it. That's your purpose. That's at least that's how I look at it. Like you living your life can help somebody else. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I've met so many people in my life that like just me being in their presence, and even there's been so many people in my life that just them being there has stopped me from committing certain atrocities, bro, just because they were part of my life, and I view them in a certain way, so it stopped me from committing certain sins and atrocities and doing all these terrible things, and that to me is the purpose of life. You live your life because the way you live your life affects somebody else. You feel me? So that's what I think. That's what I think the purpose of life is, and that's all the questions. If you have more questions that you wanna ask me, hold on. If you have more questions you wanna ask me, or anything else you wanna know about me, bro, just let me know down in the comments. And I apologize if I was doing too much rambling, but sometimes I just be yapping and shit, bro. It's literally just me in this fucking house. So I have no one else to talk to but you guys, or, so I have a tendency of just going on little rampages and just rap. Why the fuck am I stuttering? And just yapping about shit, bro. So if you have any questions or you want to know anything about me, you just ask me, and I'll go into a whole dude, fuck. You have to forgive me, man. Like, I speak multiple languages, so sometimes I have to process like certain words in all my languages, and I end up losing it. So, forgive me for that. But yeah, man, thank you for watching. I'm gonna conclude the video here, man. Thank you for watching, and yeah, man. If you have anything else, let me know, and I'll see you in the next vlog, bro. We'll continue the vlogs as usual, but I just wanted to kind of give you a little get to know me type of vlog, this time. And then the next vlog is gonna be a continuation of what happened last time, or whatever. You'll see. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog, man. All right. Bye. Bye, Nick.